everyone, welcome back. This week's academic video is all about being a university head of school. In the videos this year, I thought alongside chatting about the research and the teaching and the becoming a lecturer, it might also be handy to talk about the different roles within a university. So if you're new around here, I'm Caroline. I am a university physics lecturer. And today I thought we could tackle the role of the head of school. Who can be the head of school? Why would you want to be the head of school? Do you have to become the head of school if you're an academic? And is it a career pathway that's on your cards? Or is it something that maybe you're going to skirt around and not go near? It's a very grand sounding title, and it is a strategic leadership role. So a head of school position is usually filled within the current academic members of staff at that university. And that's true for head of department and also for head of school. So usually it's an existing academic, and quite often those academics are at the professorial level. So they are professors in their subject. Now, that's not always the case, and actually when they put the heads of school open for interview, it is available for people who are maybe lecturers or senior lecturers or readers to apply for, but often to have kind of the blend of the skill set or to have the knowledge of the university, the professorial level means you've been there or had a few years enough experience to be able to take on that role as head of school. So unlike the dean, and I think I did make a past video about the dean, but we can always make a refresher, but unlike the dean, which might be a role where you bring in somebody from outside the university, so an external academic may apply to go from one university to another to become the dean, the head of school, the head of department, that is typically filled by somebody who's already at that university. And so what then is the role? Well, the role of a head of school, it really is an academic leadership position. So you're there to oversee the academic, trajectory and the drive and the research interests of that particular research done within that particular school. You're there to look after the student experience, to make sure that all levels of students within your departments who make up the school are having a good quality educational experience at your university. And I guess you're a point of liaison contact between the researchers, so the academics, the teaching fellows, the postdocs, the PhDs, people who are working in your various departments making up the school, and the overall strategic leadership team of the university. So it's kind of a mixture then, I guess, of academic and educational drive and vision and leadership, whilst also maintaining that kind of management role and being a kind of a two-way communication between those working in the departments and those who are looking at the policies and overall strategies of the university. Usually, as the head of school, you're going to report to the dean. And typically as a head of school, you're going to find yourself on a number of committees because you need to be at these meetings in order to fulfil your jobs and your kind of responsibilities within that career position. That means you're going to find yourself then on committees to do with teaching, committees to do with research, also to do with administration, and also potentially to do with enterprise, to look at the innovative future direction of the head of the school that you are now leading. It's a time invasive, but it is a big time commitment becoming the head of school. And so typically an academic who becomes it, so somebody who's been working as a professor or a reader, when they step up to become the head of school, there will be a reduction in their own personal research and teaching. And that will really vary depending on university, on the departments involved, and on the individual who's actually taking up the position. In my experience, I've worked now for a few heads of school / heads of department, And in the main, they try, from what I can see, to keep a day, a week maybe, going for research to be able to continue to pursue their research interests. Maybe they might teach one course or part of one course, so they maintain that connection to the teaching experience of the students. But then actually the roles and the responsibilities of being the head of school, so all these kind of committee meetings, this liaison work, this looking across the strategic direction of the department, that then takes up so much time, they therefore then do need to reduce their teaching and their research accordingly. And I can imagine that being quite hard. If you're an academic and you love your research or you love your teaching, maybe the head of school doesn't appeal because you don't really want to give up a part of your job that you absolutely adore. On the other hand, maybe you really enjoy your teaching or maybe you really enjoy your research, but actually the head of school is a new opportunity to look at the university from a different viewpoint, to be involved in different committees, to get more involved, I guess, with the leadership of the university. And in particular, if you're thinking maybe about on completion of your head of school kind of term, maybe wanting to change direction, maybe go off strategically and consider becoming a dean, then that could also be a really interesting career move to make. So for some academics who become the head of school, they will do it for a number of years, and a typical term will be 3 to 4 years. And then at the end of that term, they'll go, yep, that's it. I've been the head of school. I've experienced things from a different viewpoint, but now I want to go back into my world of research or back into my world of teaching and get back to my core roots of things that I want to do every day. Alternatively, you may get to the end of your 3 or 4 year tenure as the head of school and go, yep, I really enjoyed seeing the different kind of roles and responsibilities within the university, and actually you see your onward career becoming more of a strategic kind of leadership position, and therefore you might choose to step further away from hands-on research or hands-on teaching and look to go down the kind of the associate dean or the dean pathway instead. Some academics will view it as their turn. So, I know in some departments it will cycle around the academics. So one academic who's a professor will do their stint as being head of department or head of school, and then the next professor will go, okay, it's my turn now to do it. So some academics will view it as something that they need to do as part of their career. Other places won't view it like that at all, and it will be something that only a small number of academics will want to get involved with. To become the head of school or to become the head of department, it is going to be a competitive interview type process typically. So quite often when it comes around, when the next head of school is needed or the next head of department is needed, typically there might be a few people who want to go for it. And in that case, it is going to be an interview process. And again, it will quite often involve the whole of the department. So like when you are a lecturer applying for your very first job and you have to give a talk to all the departmental academics, when you are applying to be maybe the head of the department or the head of a school, you too may find yourself having to give a kind of vision and strategic leadership talk to all of the academics within that department. So I can imagine that's quite a daunting prospect, even if you are a very experienced professor, then having to stand up to your then peer group and explain where you would lead the department and what you would do differently must be, something not to be undertaken lightly. Because of course, if you take on the role of being a head of school, you want that school to grow under your leadership and to flourish, and you want to feel like you're leaving it in a better position at the end of your tenure than you did at the start when you took it on. And that can mean that you get involved in many, many activities. You might be reviewing the curriculum. So typically heads of school will work very closely with the directors of learning and teaching for that particular department or that particular school. That's another role we can talk about in a future video. But the Director of Learning and Teaching is really looking across the curriculum, looking at the degree programmes that are being offered by that university, looking at the undergraduate courses, the master's courses, sharing that load of teaching amongst the academics. And so the Director of Learning and Teaching, the DLT, will work very closely with the head of school to ensure that the curriculum, the degree programmes are progressing in a way that the university wants to move forwards, and that all the teaching academics are happy, or as happy as they can be, with the allocated teaching load. And along with that means that as head of school, you will hold accountability for the resource management within your school. So, you will be overseeing where there's vacancies. If a professor leaves, do you fill that position with another professor? Do you fill that position maybe with 2 part-time roles? The balance of academic staffing, so the balance of resource within that school will be something that lands in your kind of plate to look after. And you'll be reviewing the student experience. So are students typically happy? You might be attending meetings, so you'll go along to hear the student reps talk about the courses. Is the general vibe from the first years, the second years, the third years, are they happy with their experience that they're getting at the university? And of course, the research direction. It's so important for departments and schools to be outputting high quality research, both in order to attract future funding. These wonderful research grant applications, you need to be hitting your high quality research to get high quality publications, so you can get more money to do more high quality research. A bit of a circle, really. But also you want that high quality research to attract the very best academics into your school, and therefore to have really good projects that the undergraduate and the master students can also work on. So let me know, is being a head of school or a head of department on your radar? Are you thinking that one day you'd like to do it? Have you done it already? Have you already been the head of school or head of department? Was it a positive experience, or maybe there was aspects of the role that you didn't like? Let me know in the comments what you think about that position within the university. And so as we go through this year, I will try to throw these videos in where we look at these roles and positions within the university, because they are interesting and add variety to the potential career pathways that you may wish to go down as a working academic. But yeah, let me know, head of school, does it appeal, or is it something I said you're going to try to avoid throughout your career? In the meantime, as always, keep leaving me your comments. I do enjoy reading them all. I keep notes of the videos that people would like to see, so we can have more topics coming up in the year ahead. Have a really, really good week. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and I will see you next Monday for another academic chat video. Okay, see you then. Bye.